Join Charles Comer and Jane Spencer as they dive headfirst into the chaotic world of Saturday college football games, dissecting all the jaw-dropping upsets and sharing their unfiltered opinions. They're here to give you the inside scoop on all the exhilarating twists and turns that make college football so unpredictable on the Over&Under podcast. In 3, 2, 1.
All right, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. This is yours truly, Charles Comer and James Spencer on the Over&Under podcast. How are you today, James?
Good. How you doing? What's up, everybody?
Doing well. James, I got a quick question before we jump into everything. We got Michigan versus Penn State, Florida State barely surviving Miami, Washington and Utah, North Carolina in the second two-time overtime. I don't understand why you like Drake May, and then Texas barely surviving against TCU. Texas barely surviving against TCU, but I got a question for you. I got a duo, right? You're on the 5-yard line, national championship game. I need you to tell me who you're taking. Quentin Ewers, right? Xavier Worthy, that duo. Or are you taking Bo Nix, Troy Franklin, Penix, a Doomsday, Jordan Travers, Keon Coleman, or are you taking Horde and Marvin Harrison? Now, remember this. This is a national championship game. You are on the line.
Yeah, for sure. That's just biased, but I'm taking Bo Nix and Franklin.
You're taking Bo Nix and Franklin? Grandfather Bo?
Yup. Grandfather Bo's crazy. But yes.
That's the nickname I got for him, Grandfather Bo Nix, because he's been in the league for a crazy amount of time. I'm just saying,
Like 5 years.
5 years is a long time. No, it's like 6. He's a 6-year senior. 6 years.
I thought it's 5.
Yeah. Nah, he's 6-year senior. But speaking of being in the league for a long time, Georgia has not lost a game. 26 in a row. Against Ole Miss, it is 27. I feel like we are witnessing another national championship team. Ole Miss, I thought was going to put up a fight because I didn't. Did I pick them? No, I think you picked Ole Miss.
I picked them.
Did you pick? I didn't even know that. Look, I got a win on the board. I do got a win on the board. Let's talk about those. Actually, let's talk about the wins and losses. All right. I won. I won a couple games here. I may have caught up to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't done the totals because I knew we were live recording today. But Michigan, Penn State, I won. You picked Penn State. Don't know why you did that, but hey, it looked promising because I think Jim Harbaugh was not gonna be on the sideline. But when you got a coach like can't even remember the black guy crying on TV. That guy. I mean, they act like Jim Harbaugh was dead. But it was at the Outback. It was at the Outback having the sizzle and fajitas delivered to him, watching his team win a game, but it is what it is. I understand the passion of the game. Yeah, Ole Miss against Georgia. You picked Ole Miss, I picked Georgia. Now, Tennessee, Missouri, you did get me. Not gonna lie.
Told you.
Hey, I didn't know Cook had it in him. Joe Milton was gonna be the better quarterback that day, and that was not being faced. They did not show up. Florida State, University of Miami. Not looking good for you on that one. You took the University of Miami.
We were close. If Williams doesn't get hurt, they might make it a game and win at the end. But it is what it is.
And me having hope for Caleb Williams to be the great quarterback he is against Oregon. Not so much. So I lost that one. TCU against Texas. I won that one. You picked TCU. Don't know why you picked TCU.
I picked TCU.
It does. I have it on the record. It says CJ.
At all.
You picked TCU.
That does not sound right.
Hey, I'm just wondering. We may want to go back to the recording the last, but it's saying you picked TCU. We have Alabama versus Kentucky. I think we both picked Alabama. And then we have Washington versus Utah. I picked Utah, I think. So you won that one because I think you picked Washington. Duke versus North Carolina. I picked Duke. Almost happened, but what can I say? But we do, when we dive deep into the game on here, I do have some good feedback for Duke. And then Ohio State, Michigan State, we both picked Ohio State. So on this list, I have CJ. So I think that's the games we agreed with. So we agreed with, actually, we did agree with Oregon. I didn't pick USC. We agreed with Oregon. We agreed with Texas. We agreed with Alabama. We agreed with Washington. We didn't agree with Duke and North Carolina, but we agreed on Ohio State, Michigan. So, and we did agree.
I agree with you on Texas.
Yeah. Sorry, so I'm wrong on that one. But on the Florida State, University of Miami, we did pick Florida State. So we'll go back and see. But we are in week 11, going into week 12, and it is looking like the teams are definitely separating themselves from the pack. Georgia specifically is separating itself from the pack. Gigantic win against Ole Miss this weekend. We knew it wasn't going to be a game. I think Georgia's defense is outstanding. Not as good as the last 2 years they've had it, but they're pretty outstanding. How did you feel watching the game, reviewing the game? How did you feel that Georgia played against Ole Miss?
Well, first, it looked like it was going to be like a shootout. But like you said, Georgia's defense really stepped up. But like you said, it's not like the defense of the past, but they're still really good on that side of the ball. And their offense is just putting up points. So if your defense is playing great like that, and then you're just putting up offensive numbers like that, you're a really good team. But shout out to Ole Miss because I was really hoping they pull it out. It was looking good for a minute, but hey, it's still Georgia, so it is what it is. But they're still good, and I don't know why they picked Ohio State to be number one in the rankings besides them, because in my opinion, I think Georgia's the better team overall.
Overall, I do think they're a better team. They have better athletes, of course, than I think across the field. However, the SEC championship game is set. It will be Georgia against Alabama. And the way that Milroe has been playing, and the way that offensive line for Alabama has been playing, I'm worried. I'm not 100% like I'm going to pick Bama, but I'm worried that if it's a dogfight and we go to the last 2 minutes, can Beck get it done? Can the running game get it done? That's what I'm kind of worried at. But they haven't had a great running game this season, but I think they're finally picking it up. And that's with coming at the end of the season and coming into these games they're going to play, right? Especially in the SEC.
Yeah, sure.
Ole Miss, this is Ole Miss. It's Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss. You don't have the caliber of players to compete with Georgia. So at the end of the day, that's just how it's going to go, But
yeah. Hey, I had a little bit of faith, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, right? We're not going to talk about your faith today, Colorado, because like I told you, they're not going to win. But however, we do have to step into this Florida State Miami game. That was a nail biter. All right, a nail biter. I was at work filling up trucks, right? Because I'm a fueler. Filling up trucks, and I'm just like, yo, where's Keon Coleman, right? No catches in the first half of the game. Only 4 receptions in the whole game, right? However, he did have a pretty return, but he kind of slow, so he didn't break it away. He is like 6'5", right? But remember, I think I told you a couple weeks ago, I was saying Florida State is inconsistent. I didn't like Jordan Travis as a Heisman candidate because he's inconsistent. He doesn't have those stretches where it's like, all right, for 5 or 6 games, I'm him. All right. He kind of has those games. It's like, all right, I'm okay this game. I had a breakout game. We barely won this game. And you know what I mean? And I don't understand how, if Keon Coleman is that go-to guy, I think he was targeted 3 times in the first half. Florida State passes 56% of their passes, right?
Yeah.
Ron Coleman getting targeted. Was he double teamed? I would have to go back and look at the film. Was he double teamed a lot? Maybe that's the reason. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be interesting to see.
I mean, he
what
shows up
happens.
when he's needed, like with that return or the punt return, and then that late touchdown. I don't know. I feel like he's just not getting enough targets. That's all it is. And I mean, what's it called? You don't have to get targeted a lot, but as long as you show up for the targets that you do get, then you should be fine. But like you said, it's like everybody's thought he was gonna be doing crazy numbers this year, but Travis is looking at everybody else, and when it's down to the wire, that's when Coleman, he'll throw it up to him or whatever. But I don't know. I think he's still a really good player, but again, he's not getting enough targets. So, but it's a team game, so you just got to take what you can and work with that.
Do you think Florida State deserves to be number 4? Because if you can't say that they're better than Ohio State.
I'm gonna be honest.
I can't say that they're better than Ohio State. I think they have a better defense than Ohio State. Offense, I think them and Ohio State are kind of like neck and neck. Michigan, we get it to Michigan how they played, but Michigan is kind of a toss up. But I can't put them. If I'm saying right now, if Georgia and Florida State go play, Georgia has the secondary to hold Keon Coleman and that unit, that wide receiver unit. They have a great secondary. So Benson is not going to run for 150 yards against a Georgia defensive line that's not as good as it's been, but it's still pretty damn good. You know what I mean? So is the ACC that weak of a conference that I'm sitting up here like, nah, I don't think they'll go to the championship and do well? Or is it that I really don't trust that Mike Norvell, Jordan Travis, Keon Coleman, and them can get it done when it comes to that crunch time? Because it's been some close games. And like I said, Georgia's been pushing away from everybody, showing the distance that they have. But then you have Florida State that's having these close games, Texas that's having these close games, Oregon pushing away from the pack, Washington having close games, Michigan having close games. Ohio State played Michigan State. I'm not going to give them that because he was even the coach for Michigan State. But like I'm saying, it's crazy. It's crazy. But
I just don't believe in them for sure. Like I said, their offense is spotty. They're having close games when they shouldn't have these close games. But kudos to Miami. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. They still play really well against them. But Florida State is, I don't know. They're a good team, but I don't think they deserve that number 4 ranking. Who to give it to? I don't know. At Washington, they got played really close with Utah. And Oregon has been putting up points, but they lost to Washington, so I can't really throw them up there either. So I don't know who I would put there at that point, but I don't think they should be number 4.
And when you speak of Miami, right, just not to get off Florida State because they are who they are, and they're going to win the ACC. They're probably going to play Louisville in the ACC championship, which will be a great game. Hear me out. If Louisville beats Florida State, we got to have a talk. Now we got to have that talk that I've been wanting to have on the transfer portal, getting people from the transfer portal. Miami puts in a freshman quarterback, Emory Williams, right? Played a game. A bad game, but he played a game. He wasn't Tyler Van Dyke, who the mental is all over the place, right? Played a game. I think he completed 9 passes. But still, that goes to say if
something like that.
If Miami's quarterback completing, I think it was 9 out of 23, right? It was something like that.
I got 8 out of 23 for 175 for 2 touchdowns.
And they stood up with Florida State 27-20. Bo Nix would kill that defense if you're telling me, right? That's what I'm saying, right? But but to speak on Miami, it is what it is. You know, will it get better? I don't know, but this time, it's not looking the best. It's not looking the best overall.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think they'll be. I think they'll be better down the line. Not this year, but like next year. Because Williams did look okay, but he's also a freshman, so give him a little bit more time and him healing up. I think they'll be pretty good next year.
What do you just to get off that subject, right? We're gonna get off Florida, Miami. I think we've given the Florida boys enough attention. Washington versus Utah. As I started the show, I was telling you there's teams that can separate themselves, right? There's teams that are starting to separate themselves in the top four. Georgia.
Yeah.
Really, Georgia, not even in the top four. When we say top 10, Georgia, Oregon, and them. Coming into the season, Washington was a jam-packed offense. Michael Penix couldn't be stopped, right? They go into Utah, which we know that Utah has one of the best defense in the Pac-12, and there was a fight. It wasn't a cakewalk. Yeah. Do we respect that, or is it kind of like you should have pulled away, right? Are we respecting the Pac-12's depth of competition compared to other conferences, or are we saying Michael Penix, a Doomsday, Dylan Johnson, y'all should have pulled away, right? Y'all should be pulling away, I would say, from the pack and showing that you're a championship caliber team. That way, maybe you could jump into that top 4 spot that Florida State has right now, Because just to me, it's like, at what point can I say Michael Penix is the Heisman winner? Because to me, right, even if he is losing games, Jason Daniels is playing a hell of a season. So what makes you think I'm going to give it to Michael Penix just because he's winning games?
I mean, he's still putting up numbers, though. He threw for 332 yards. He's still playing really well. I mean, I think it's more of the Pac-12 having a really good conference that everybody's competitive in that conference. I think some other conferences might be a little bit more weak compared to the Pac-12. So I give it to Utah. I think they're a really good team. They played very well. And I mean, Washington, they still played really good against them, but I think it's the level of competition in that conference and how good it's about to dissolve, but how good the Pac-12 has been.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. He does put up still great numbers, but maybe it's the defense is what I'm talking about. Maybe I misstated what, I'm trying to talk about the offense. It's the defense. When we go in these championship games, you got to stop the other opponent. Washington hasn't. Have they gotten better? I guess you could say they have. But at the end of the day, like, you got to stop Oregon again. Oregon's clicking on all cylinders. You only got 2 weeks to prepare. Yeah. And you got a big rivalry game down the road against Washington State, who has nothing to lose, right? Yeah. But I'm glad they got the win, but we need to talk about Utah. Where is Sion Vaki? Where is Sion Vaki, the guy that was against USC, that was catching passes, running the ball, and playing defense, from being compared to Travis Hunter? Where is Sion Vaki? Nowhere to be found. What are we doing, right? How do we implement him in the game plan? Like, I don't know if he's hurt. I didn't see he was hurt. I didn't see it.
I'm not in these rooms, but I mean, I think they want to just maybe focus more with him on like offense or something. I mean, he caught a touchdown. He had 67 yards receiving, but I think it might be more just kind of lead more into the offense, the ball instead of defense. I'm not in these rooms, so I think they want to incorporate more into offense for right now.
Yeah, I can get that. I don't know. I had a big hopes for Utah. Hopefully they can pull it together this end of the season. Pretty sure they're going to win that game against Colorado, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, they still could show Colorado.
Yeah, all right. You know what's crazy. Not so we weren't gonna speak on the game, but they were leading. They were leading the whole game against Arizona. My Fafita agenda was dwindling. It was caving in. And then he woke up. He looked around that stadium. He said, I'm him. And they got it done. So shout out to Arizona.
He didn't hit my parlay.
Hate to see it. Shout out to Washington for beating Utah.
It is.
We want to know where Vike is. Shout out to Arizona State for beating Colorado. Viewers may not like that I'm going against Colorado, but you need to look in the mirror and figure out that it's not the players, that it's the coaches. And who is the head coach? It is Deion Sanders, and he needs to look in the mirror and figure out that he's not a coach, that he's a motivational speaker. And he needs to find somebody. He should have just been the athletic director of Colorado. He should have just been you know what? I ain't gonna talk about it. You should have just been the athletic director of Colorado. That is a hot take. Should have just been the athletic director of Colorado. He should have had the same. He would have got the same attention. Your son's playing. Travis Hunter playing. Be the athletic director. Let somebody go in there and really coach, because you letting players fight at practice. You think Nick Saban is letting players fight at practice and keeping records of it? No. You think Kirby Smart is letting players fight at practice and keeping a record of it? No. What are we doing? Are we in high school?
No.
You feel me? Like, what is this? Is this like Wayland Baptist we went to, where it's the first year program, and we just like, let's just see how it works. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing, right? But be my hot take. I'm just so mad because I just had so many high hopes, and I was really rocking with him, and I'm gonna still rock with him because we're going to a game next year. More than like, hopefully, we can go to a game next year. But Colorado, you're breaking my heart slowly, breaking my heart. But someone else who's breaking my heart, James,
as a head coach.
He was a head coach at Jackson State for 3 years. Yeah, 3 years.
I mean, for like a power at like a Power 5 conference school.
But here's the thing: I'm going to treat him the same way that everybody else is. He's not going to get that grace. I'm not giving you that grace. I'm going to treat you like everybody else would. I'm not giving you that grace. You talked all. You said you were bringing James. He said he was bringing Louis. I ain't seen nothing but coach. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. You feel me? I'll buy my girl some coach, but it's not a Louis. You know? But yeah, it is what it is. Got off track. We're back on track. Like I said, who else has broke my heart is Caleb Williams and the USC Trojans. As they went against the Oregon Ducks this weekend, and frankly, I don't think anybody else. Another hot take, Oregon's going to win the national championship. Bo Nix, Bucky Irvin, Troy Franklin, Tez Walker.
Oh,
nobody's stopping them. Nobody's stopping. I know that's your team. Hear me out. We'll get to my team.
Got on the train.
No, I ain't on the train. Whoa. I'm at the train. Stop. I'm waving. Hey, you know what I mean? Good luck. But I ain't on the train, right? Grandfather. I'm not on the grandfather big Knicks train, all right? We're just chilling. But I don't think anybody can stop him. I don't think anybody can stop him.
They were clicking on all cylinders, so my guy was slinging that ball everywhere on that field. Well, he was doing whatever he wanted. No, it was pretty much just garbage time at that point. What's it called? But from what I'm seeing from now, they're just playing really well. It's a shame that they lost that game against Washington when they did, but right now it looks like it wouldn't even be a game against Washington. The way their offense is going right now. Knicks threw for 412 yards and 4 touchdowns. My guy slinging it. And then Irving had 112 on the ground. Like, what we talking about right now? They're playing crazy. That's my team. I'm not even going to get super into it. I'm just saying, like, man.
If they play Washington again, the only difference is Washington will have a running game this time. Washington has found a running game with Dylan Johnson. That's the only difference, right? But the opponent that they played, USC, right? Now, last week I came here and I told you, hey, it's not Caleb. You know what I mean? It's the coaching, it's the defense that's bad. They had my man's crying in the Coliseum. His mother's covering his face. You can see him crying in the camera, being consoled by his family. And I was like, you know what? That's sad. It's Caleb. He's at the interview. I just want to go home and curl with my cat. I take all that back. I really watched that game. It's Caleb. It's him. He's a caliber. He's an NFL caliber quarterback, right? And you know, and before I say this, what do I know about spotting NFL caliber quarterbacks, right? But if I have the first pick in the NFL draft, and hear me out, you may want to screen record this. I'm taking Drake May. I'm taking Drake May. Not only am I taking Drake May, I'm taking McCarthy second.
Finally,
I'm taking Michael Penix third. I'm drafting some wide receivers, some linemen, and then I may take Caleb because I finally saw what everyone was talking about. You can't scramble all day. You can't be late on passes. You're athletic. There's people just as athletic as you on the field. You can't be more athletic than everybody. So, yes. What's the defensive problem for USC? Yes. Did they fire Alex Grinch? Yes. Did they wait too long? Obviously. But was that 60%? Was that 90% of the problem? No. Was it 60% and the other 40% is Duncan Riley and Caleb Williams not having no creativity in their game plan? Yes, that's what I think. Caleb Williams is not him. So, I don't know. All right, we're back. Had a couple difficulties, some audio difficulties. But back to what I was saying, Caleb Williams is not him.
I've been telling you that.
And it took me a long time to get to that conclusion, but what can you say? What can you say, right?
I told you.
I don't know, man. I think it's in the fundamentals. It's a part of the criteria that he has is his playmakers, but it's in his fundamentals for sure. But we're gonna go ahead and move along because I don't want anything to happen to this podcast to cut out because I think we're doing pretty well. But this is gonna fly through this. We got Michigan State, Penn State. Things I can take through that game is Michigan only ran the ball second half. That's how much they respected. That's how much they respected Penn State. They only ran the ball the second half.
These quarterbacks, they threw for 60 yards. Penn State's Allard threw for 70 is crazy.
Imagine me having them on my sleeper pick for Jay McCarthy to throw 235 yards. And I look at it and it's like 90. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. But what can you do? We're gonna make sure the Wolverines, we cheer them on, make sure Jim Harbaugh gets back to where he needs to be.
Oh, wait, real quick. Why was Buddy like? I mean, I get it. They won the game and everything, and Harbaugh goes out suspended. But man, he
was crying
like it was a funeral or something. Like,
bro, me and my girl were watching that, and I was telling her, I was like, "That's embarrassing. That's cringe, as they call it. It's very cringe." He's like, "And Harbaugh, I love you, man." Mind you, when did Fox not start bleeping out F words? Like, when did that?
I saw that too.
Like, what happening here? I fucking love you, Harbaugh, man. I love this team. We have the best AD, the best staff, and I'm just like, bro.
I was waiting for Blade to point to the sky.
He got suspended for 3 games. He had Outback having the fajita sizzling being delivered to him because they're like, "Oh, what's up, Jim Harbaugh? You're gonna be all right. You're gonna see him literally in less than 2 hours on the bus."
I'm saying, like, I don't know. I saw that and I was like, did I miss something? But he's just suspended. But,
like, that's crazy to me.
But anyways, carry on. I just wanted to point that out.
Back again. But yeah, the Michigan coach, intern coach, Prime was absolutely crazy. I don't know what we're doing with that.
Hey, passionate, I guess, but a little too much passion.
A little too much passion. Penn State, a little too much rushing yards allowed by Michigan. How we feel about Michigan though going into the playoff season? Like, are we saying they're top tier? This is the only top team they played this season. This is really their first test. And mind you, Penn State doesn't have an offense. They're shaky, and it was a close game. Can they beat Bama? Can they beat Alabama? Can they beat Oregon? Can they even beat Washington?
If you're not putting up points, you're not competing with any of these teams that are up there. I'm not on the Michigan train. I've never been. I think they're just okay. They don't really play anybody besides, like you said, Penn State. They'll play Ohio State in the conference championship, probably, right? And that's the only two teams they're gonna see. And I see Ohio State running away with it. They don't show me anything that super impressive. They're just okay. Just an okay team to me. But hey, whatever.
What do we, bro, like, I get so riled up because when we start talking about conferences, the Big Ten, in the Big Ten championship, it's going to be Michigan against Iowa or Ohio State against Iowa, and they're going to get in the championship, right? And then you have these high caliber teams, I think, as Oregon, Texas, Washington, even though their defense is right? Florida State, that are going to be sitting there fighting for a spot to get in the playoffs. But we're just going to give it to Ohio State and Michigan just because they played each other, and then they played a gimme conference game against Iowa, who hasn't even averaged 200 yards of offense this year. That's what we're doing. That's what we're saying is the caliber team to go into the playoffs. Because I'm telling you, when it's 12 teams next year, they're out of there first round.
See, the conference expands next year with Oregon and Washington and all the other ones joining. And then we can talk about it. They'll play those teams throughout the year, but right now it's just who are y'all playing? Like I really don't think they deserve to be up there at all. But I think everybody's on the Michigan train.
The best win that Michigan had before this Penn State game was Indiana, I think.
That sounds right.
Indiana. Who was Indiana?
The Hoosiers playing basketball right now.
Exactly. They're hooping.
That's all I see.
They're absolutely hooping right now. But
I don't know. I never understood everybody just on Michigan. If they played more top 10, top 25 teams, then we could talk about it. But no, I don't see it. I feel like this should be maybe number 11, 12, maybe. But that's just my opinion. Hey, I'm not the committee, so.
We're going to get to it. We got a segment on here that I want to talk to you about because we're going to be the committee. And we're going to have to put in the Over&Under podcast. We're going to have to really talk about that and make some cases. But let's get to this last game before we do get into our kind of segments. North Carolina, Duke, Chapel Hill, double overtime. Freshman quarterback, Grayson Loftus for Duke.
Man, my guy was playing.
Listen, where has he been all season? Because Leonard got hurt 3 games ago.
I think so.
And then where was he over the black quarterback? When did we just
on the bench, chilling, waiting for that shot?
Just waiting, like Loftus, bro. Loftus he's the future of Duke football for sure. They're gonna need some more NIL money to recruit in the ACC, right? I think they're all giving all the NIL money for the basketball scene, but
probably.
Right. and the Duke actually lost to Kansas in basketball. We're not gonna talk about that yet, but Drake May did something that I didn't think he would do. He completed 65% of his passes.
I don't know why you hate on Drake May. Like, he's not that guy.
28 for 43, 342 yards. Omarion Hampton, 31 carries, 169 yards on the ground. Tez Walker, 7 catches, 162 yards.
I really thought North Carolina was going to run away with it at the beginning. Kudos to Duke because they came back and they fought the whole game. But that guy Drake May, man, hey, listen, I've been telling you, this guy, he's him. The thing that you be talking about Caleb Williams with, this is who you should be talking about right here. Instead of that man. Because he be playing his heart out. I don't care what you say. He even in overtime, bro, when he jumped into the end zone and he's trying to hurdle people too. Man, listen. I don't see no Caleb Williams doing that. Okay, I don't see nothing but Caleb Williams doing nothing like that. He's over here saying the ball across his body and everything, hoping his receivers make plays. Hoping. But this man, Drake May, I'll do it myself. I'll take over. Put the team on my back.
Okay.
But hey, go ahead.
Drake May has Tez Walker. Who does USC have? Who does Caleb Williams have? Rice? He ain't even close to his daddy.
Hey, they recruit. They probably got the same. What's it called? Receivers they're recruiting. USC just didn't capitalize on receivers. So hey, you thought he's him though, right? He's him though. Like he's the quarterback. He can make them plays. It shouldn't matter who's out there running routes.
I rescinded that he's him. I had to take that title away from him because.
No, I'm just saying.
Hey, man, I was just to get back on North Carolina. I was impressed on North Carolina's win. Drake May really did be a playmaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, I think Tez Walker might be the best wide receiver in the NCAA right now. And I know you want to say Marvin Harrison. And I know you want to say Doomsday. You got Xavier Worthy. You got Tez Walker. I mean, you got Troy Franklin. You got Keon Coleman. But Tez Walker didn't play the first 4 games for North Carolina. Stayed focused. Came in working. Made an impact immediately. And continues to make an impact. I can't wait till the bowl schedule comes out and we get to pick the bowl team. Because I'm telling you right now, whoever North Carolina plays, they better have a good secondary. Tez Walker might go for 220, 225.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I would put probably Franklin like a little bit above him, like a tad, but I'm with you on that. He's crazy. I see why Drake may be just out there just slinging it out there because if I have him out there catching the ball, I ain't got no worries. I'm just going. He out there somewhere. He gonna catch it.
You got him catching the ball. You got Hampton that can carry the ball well. You got a defense that's somewhat decent, keeps you off the field. You know what I mean? Or keeps you on the field. You can score quick. But yeah, man, I'm interested to see. I wish they wouldn't have lost that Virginia game.
Yeah.
Right? Then we'd be talking about something different. But
yeah, that game really hurt them.
But it is what it is. Drake May, you won quarterback of the week for me. Never thought I would say that, right? But you did win quarterback of the week for me. Another noticeable quarterbacks, Jalen Milroe had a great game against Kentucky. Alabama's looking scary.
Yeah, they're starting to figure it out. Everybody at the right time too.
And it's looking scary. Jaden Daniels is still being Jaden Daniels, and man, he's got to win. He has to win the Heisman, right?
I hope so. He deserves it.
We have to put aside winning records of teams, right? We got to put of players' personal, individual
performances.
Like, who's doing better than him consistently since week 1?
Yep. I have no argument with that. It's just he's just been out there just every week in and week out, just putting up numbers. Doesn't matter who they play, Alabama, no matter. He's still putting up numbers, and I feel like he's not going to win the Heisman, but I think he should, just because. Yeah, he will for sure, but it just they're probably going to give it to somebody else. What's his name? Penix. I'm positive they're probably going to give it to him, but I think Daniels deserves it. For real.
Penix loses in the Pac-12 conference game. Bo Nix wins. Let's just throw a scenario right here, right? Let's throw this first scenario, all right? Penix loses the conference championship against Bo Nix.
Mm-hmm.
Lost my train of thought. Drake May.
If he loses.
Drake May still in the running, right?
Yeah.
Drake May continues to be well. Daniels
continues to be well. Jalen Milroe continues to be well, and then Marvin Harrison has like a 300-yard game. Are we still giving it to? Are we still giving it to Penix?
I feel like they will. I don't think so. In my opinion, I don't think he deserves it, but I think they will, just because of what he's done. Their win record, their top 5 and everything like that. But I don't know. I just think it should be more of just a performance, not just because you have a winning record or anything. I mean, nothing against Penix. I mean, he's a great quarterback, but he hasn't been doing. Daniel's been doing every week, just consistently, just putting up numbers and playing well. I mean, it may not show because LSU got no kind of defense, but he's out there giving them a chance, and that's all you can do. And then just balling out. But I don't know. I think it'll be Penix or maybe even Bo Nix. I mean, I ain't got no qualm with Bo Nix getting it, but I think Daniel should be at least a top 3. But that's just my opinion.
Well, I'll tell you who's not making it to New York. Sanders. Hates it.
I mean, he plays well too, but I mean, I know they're not gonna even consider him. Bro, he threw for like 2-something, like a few touchdowns. He still played well.
Drake May threw for 342, Penix threw for 300.
Okay. I said played well. I didn't say played amazing like these other guys. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro.
All right, so here we go. Last 3 questions I'm going to ask you, and then we're going to look at the polls, pick our playoff team. We're going to end this, right, because it's late. You gotta get some sleep, and I got to get some sleep. Who has the best conference this year?
This year? This might be hot take, but I think the Pac-12, they're every team is competitive in the Pac-12. You can lose to anybody over there. SEC, I know everybody says SEC, but it's usually Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and then for that, I mean, there's no really anything going on. And Pac-12, I mean, like Utah put up a fight against Washington. What's it called? USC kind of came back against Oregon. It's just late, but still competing. UCLA lost, and
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they lost. I forgot who they played, but they lost.
Arizona State. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the Pac-12, I feel like anybody can beat anybody, and then I'll give you top 3. So I think it's Pac-12, SEC, and then the ACC. Just because I think it's more competitive with ACC and the Pac-12 because anybody can beat anybody. And I mean, I know Clemson's had a down year, and Florida State's been playing well, but look at that, almost losing to Miami. So that's just me. And then SEC's the SEC. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. They have the top talent. Georgia, Alabama. I ain't got nothing else to say about them. They just always good. So everybody wants to play in the SEC. So that's why you see Texas and Oklahoma going over there because they want them top recruits and want that money. So, but that's why I think. Yep, that's what they talk. That's why Pac-12 falling apart next year.
All right, so top 3. Mine's probably gonna piss you off, but SEC.
Yeah, I knew it.
Pac-12, Big 12.
Oh, the Big 12. I thought about the Big 12, but
here's why I say the Big 12. Okay. In the beginning of the season, ACC, you had Florida State, you had Louisville, North Carolina, Duke, Clemson, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had those top 5. When you came in the season, all you had was Texas, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State was losing to South Alabama. Iowa State wasn't looking good. UCF wasn't looking well, right? Now, Kansas. You had Kansas, and you had Kansas State. Now you look into it. There's like a 5-way tie for somebody to play Texas.
Yeah.
In Dallas at Cherryville, right? That's why I think they're a good conference because, like you said, in the Pac-12, anybody can beat, anybody can lose. Oklahoma State goes and beats Oklahoma and then goes to UCF and gets blown out, scores 3 points.
Yep.
3?
See, and that's why I was gonna throw them in there too. But I feel like just because a lot of their teams are just having a down year, like Tech, TCU, Iowa State. That's why I didn't really want to throw them in there. But they'll probably be number 4 for me if we did top 5. But yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of Tech, that's the only game that I'm worried about for Texas at the end of the year. Because
for sure.
I remember the Crabtree touchdown. I remember the agony of seeing that online.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we'll see how that goes.
Man,
right?
I don't know. I think Texas is. You say that, and at the same time, I feel like Texas is not going to have a problem with them. But I've also been saying the past 3 weeks that Texas is going to win, but it's going to be close games, and they've all been close games. So I'm just back and forth on that.
Why they play down. I don't know why Texas plays down to the level of their competition.
I don't know. That's what I keep saying.
Like, at some point, bro, like that's not gonna work in the championship. It's not gonna work in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Bama will run up 52 on you in a half. Florida State will run up 32. You feel me? They're not a team that can play to come back. They're a team you get a fast start, establish your running game, your defensive line establishes their dominance. We move forward, right?
Yep.
I'm worried about that Tech game. I'm not worried about the Iowa State game, but that Tech game, it's going to be all black too. You already know how that goes.
And you said the Iowa State game, and that's going to be the scary one too. Watch.
Nah.
All right.
But let's go ahead and go over the AP poll.
Okay.
Right? Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here. We got Georgia, number 1. Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington. Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Louisville, Oregon State, Missouri, Penn State, trash. Ole Miss, Oklahoma, LSU, Utah, Tulane, James Madison.
Here we go.
Number 18, 19, Arizona, Notre Dame, Tennessee, North Carolina, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Liberty.
Liberty in the top 25.
Hey, James Madison jumped up 3 spots. Put some respect on their name. Right?
I guess.
I like it. But, all right, James, go ahead and pick your top 4.
I don't like Michigan going to number 2.
You're going to playoff committee right now. You got to pick your top 4.
All right. So, if it was me, if I was a committee and I ran this, Georgia State's number 1. Ohio State. And then Texas and Washington, because they can't throw Oregon in there because they lost to Washington right now. But yeah, so Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, and Washington.
Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, and Washington.
Yeah. Florida State, they just from when they played this game with Miami, they didn't look. I mean, they played well, but at the same time, you shouldn't be that close with Miami with a freshman quarterback at that. Michigan, you know how I feel about Michigan. I feel like they're not that great. They're just okay. And then Georgia's just going Georgia because they've been great. And I don't even know why they were number 2 in the first polls came out, but that's if I was me, that'd be it.
All right, I'm in the committee. I got my nice suit on. I'm at the podium. I got to announce my top 4. Number 1 is Georgia. Defending 2-time champions, they deserve to be number 1. Number 2 is Oregon. Now, Oregon's lost a game to Washington. Dan Lanning coaching problem, going on 4th downs early, didn't get 3 points at the half. That's probably lost them the game. 4 yards from beating Washington and being undefeated. Dominating everybody, has the best quarterback, grandfather Bo, and wide receiver in right now the duos. And they deserve to be number 2. I don't care about the losses. Right now in my committee, I don't care about the L. I don't care about the L. I care how you took the L. They didn't take that L bad. Right?
Okay.
Florida State's going number 3.
Okay.
Even though I don't like their consistency in the trenches, in the backfield, Keon Coleman, Jordan Travis. I'm not betting against him in number 3. And then number 4, even though I do want to put Texas, trust me, that's my team. I got to put Michigan. Because to come out after all the controversy happened around Jim Harbaugh, win that game, and to have the passion and your coach crying on the sideline like you died, like you got murdered. You know what I mean? I got to give it to you, right? Those are my top 4. And we'll see how that goes. But
Michigan still in there is crazy, but hey, it's your list.
It is my list. I don't have the games for this week. We'll have to put them on. We'll put them on Instagram. We'll keep a record of this.
What we gonna do a poll? What do you want to try to do?
Our rankings,
I got you.
17-3 last week, 15-5, and then I didn't add up these. What's happening this week, but next week I'll have them, and we'll be able to do that.
I got you.
But
okay.
I do want to say thanks everybody watching the podcast. We've been having some technical difficulties today, but we're getting it together. And
just stick with us, guys. We're gonna figure it out.
Stick with us. Hang in there tight. You know what I mean? I got you. And Colorado's not going bowling, so I don't have to buy any of y'all a hoodie. We're getting some merch and kind of maybe giving a giveaway of the first Over and Under podcast hoodie. So we'll see how that goes. We'll be back next week. Maybe we can live stream. I don't know. We'll see what James' schedule and my schedule is like. But I may come to y'all earlier this week with our rankings and what we decide to pick on this week games. If you could follow us on Instagram, Over&Under Pod23. Also, you can follow James and me on Instagram. I don't know what your handle is, James.
JM Spence.
And then mine is DreamCon Stun. All together. But once again, it's Charles Coleman, James Spencer from the Over&Under podcast. This is Colorado's not that good, by the way.
Thank you for tuning into the Over/Under podcast. Please give us feedback on the podcast and leave us a 5-star review if you enjoyed it. Follow us on Instagram at Over&Under Pod23 and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All links are in the show description section. Thank you, and see you next time.